Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome once again. Welcome to this new session. And in this session, we are going to have a practice session on speaking, and that is on season or weather. So there are some questions. Several questions are there, and you will have to answer it. Some clues are also given there. Some words and phrases are given. It will help you to answer the questions very easily. So I'm going a demo answer. I'm going to give you a demo answer, and you will follow it. Then you will speak about this topic, season or weather. So the first question goes like, what's your favorite season? In fact, in our country, Bangladesh, we have six seasons. That's different from other countries of the world. We have six seasons, and each seasons have has their own varieties. I like all the seasons, but if you ask me to choose one, I must choose winter or spring. And if you ask me to choose only one, I will choose spring. And there are obviously some reasons for that. I will describe it in the later questions. Why do you like this season? Because I like this season, spring, because it's not so hot, it's not so cold. That's the only thing. In spring, it's very comfortable weather everywhere. It's very comfortable. You can visit anywhere, you can go anywhere without taking so much preparation. For example, you don't need to take your coat, you don't need to take your sweater, and even you don't need to think about sweating. So it's a different issue. It's a different season. You can do it anything anywhere. It's not so cold, not so hot. It's very comfortable and it's pleasant. And in most cases, it's outdoor activities. For example, playing activities or visiting activities are done in this season very comfortably. That's why I like this season very much. Today, the weather is very cold, and it's in fact almost 14 to 15 degrees Celsius. That is so uncommon in our country, Bangladesh, because it's happened only at severe cases, only at rare cases. So it's too cold outside, but I enjoy it. I also enjoy this type of weather when I don't have any work. I can stay at home. So this weather is also very suitable for taking and for relaxing and taking and for relaxing and taking a short break from everything. That's it. I like the weather today also. I have already mentioned that I don't like hot summer, even I don't like cold winter so much. I sometimes like the rainy season because it has some different feeling. The rain inspires me to do something different. The rain inspires me to enjoy it a different way. And in most cases, I like rainy season, but I also like the winter, as I have already mentioned that if I don't have any work, if I can relax and if I can stay at home, that is winter is also very important. Winter is also very most liked in weather for me. But I already have mentioned that if you tell me or if you ask me to choose one, I must choose spring, because in this kind of nature, in this kind of weather, you don't have to think about hot temperature, or in this kind of nature, you don't have to think about the cold temperature. That's why I like the moderate temperature, and that's why I like spring. Weather certainly affects my mood, and it affects everyone's mood, in fact. Because if the weather is good, the mood may be good. But if the weather is somewhat bad, the mood can be changed. So, weather impacts everyone's life, and for me, it also impacts my thinking, my uh, feeling. So, weather impacts my life. For example, in rainy season, I think about reading poetry, I think about reading books, and in winter season, I think about going somewhere to visit or think about taking some traditional foods in our country that is made in winter. And in hot summer, I think of different things. In hot summer, I don't like to visit somewhere. It affects my mood differently. And in spring, affects my mind. There is a huge difference in spring because I like to do anything in spring. So the weather affects my mood very much. And in hot summer, it's too hot, so the mood becomes. I sometimes become angry and sometimes become bored. But it doesn't happen in winter or in spring. I don't like hot weather or even cold weather. Not anyone. I don't like no none of this so much. But I like spring that is not so hot and not so cold because it's very comfortable, and all the activities can be easily done in this in season, and health. There are some health issues. It's as it is not so hot or not so cold, that is helpful for our healthy condition for maintaining a good health. So I like the weather that is moderate temperature and moderate environment. And so that's why in our country, spring is mostly liked by myself. I spend time almost the same way. There are slight differences, but almost the same. Because in summer, I have to do my activities in my school, in my coachings. So I have to teach my students in all the seasons. So almost all the same in all the seasons, but there are some slight differences. For example, in summer, I go to bed a bit late because in summer it's not so it's not so comfortable to sleep, and that's why I go to bed late. And in winter I go to bed early because it's so very comfortable for sleeping. At least in spring or in autumn, the other seasons, I do the things as usual. For example, I have to go to my institution and I have to take my classes, and even I come back home and then I have to take my coaching classes. That's why I almost do the things in the same way in different seasons. And the activities that I do in spring, that is different from other season, or in winter sometimes it's different. For example, I do traveling activities mostly in spring or in winter. So that's the different thing I do. And one thing I have to mention that in rainy season, I like to do different thing. That is, I have already mentioned that if it is raining so heavily, if it is raining in a constant, and for some constant days, I like to read books. I like to listen poetry, and sometimes I like to listen songs or musics. In our country, the weather depends on different seasons because we have 6 seasons and the weather changes in each seasons. In summer, the hot summer, it's a hot season, and in winter it's so cold. In rainy season, it rains sometimes moderately, sometimes heavy. And in spring, it's mild weather, so it's not so hot, not so cold. And the other seasons have different thinkings and different ideas, but almost the weather becomes a bit hot, not so hot, but a bit hot. So seasonal changes comes once after another, and almost in our country, the seasons change by 2 months. So it changes, and I like all the environment, all the seasons, all the weathers. I've already mentioned that weather doesn't affect my daily life because I have to do my duties. I have to continue my daily life. I have to continue my classes. I have to continue my teaching. So it doesn't affect so much in my daily life. I sometimes it helps me in choosing my clothes to wear, because in winter I try to wear soft clothes that is not so hot, and so in summer I try to wear soft clothes that's not so hot. But in winter, I try to wear a bit different clothes that is so comfortable. And mood sometimes changes. I already mentioned that the mood can change myself, but daily life doesn't change too much because I have to continue my activities in all the weathers and all the seasons. In fact, I don't have any advice because everyone knows what to do in different seasons, because different seasons have different thinking, different ideas. So the advice is for the students and for the younger generation who do not know about it. That is to dress appropriately. In winter, we can maintain a different dress code, but in hot summer we cannot do the same. So, and in hot we have to stay hydrated because there is so much hot in our country. But in cold weather, you can protect you from the cold weather by wearing warm clothes. And the thing is that you have to maintain your daily activities. You have to maintain your planned activities. So you can do it in different way, maintaining the seasonal activity, maintaining the seasonal atmosphere. Like in winter, you have to save yourself from the severe cold, and even in summer, you have to save yourself from hot summer. That's why you have to think differently in different seasons. That's the advice I give, and I had tried to advise my students to adjust with the environment, not to do the same way, the same thing by the same way. They can change their clothing, they can change their thinking, they can change their activities, comparing the seasons. That's it. So thank you for watching all these videos. Stay with us.